I'm gonna blame the COVID for my absence.
For what? Sorry.
My absence.
Yes.
Tend to forget everything easily, even
Sure,
though.
sure. Yeah.
Yeah. So talking about when before you do the birthing, you were doing international marketing.
Yeah, well, I came to here in 1992, just travelling, just to have a look,
Yeah.
and I was teaching English for 2 years, but I wanted to work in tourism
Yeah.
because you could tell, even in 1992, that things were going to change in Vietnam. Of course, Vietnam was a very different country in those days. No traffic jams, even not many motorbikes, bicycles and cyclo. So it's very, very different. This place, I came to Hao Ding in 1992. It's like going to the Mekong Delta. It's like the countryside.
Yeah. With
Now look
high
at it.
bushes and.
Yeah, and not many people live in it, just a few houses. So I was working as a teacher, and then I got into tourism. I got recruited by an Australian travel company, and my first job was actually leading groups of tourists around Vietnam. So it'd be myself and a Vietnamese guide and maybe 10 or 12 tourists, mostly from Australia, UK and North America.
Yeah.
So that was how I got to know Vietnam. I did that for about 3 years. 3 years, I think it was, yeah. So I travelled all over the country. And then after that, I started working in tourism marketing at a Vietnamese company called Video Tour. They're a big tour operator in Vietnam. And then after that, I worked for another company, a French Vietnamese company called EXO Travel. They're a very big travel company in all over Asia, in fact, but they were established here in Vietnam. So I was director of marketing for many years.
Okay, I see. But I once heard that I once interviewed a French guy, and he said that back then, maybe also in the 90s, a movie named like a French movie were very famous for them.
Yeah.
And due to that one movie, I cannot remember the name.
Indochine.
Oh yeah, that's one.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
he said that is kind of the start of the influx of tourists to Vietnam. So I wonder for you, why Vietnam, not like Thailand or any other countries in the region?
Well, it wasn't planned. I was just traveling. I was traveling around the world for a year. So I was traveling across the United States, Hawaii, New Zealand, Australia,
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
And I'd been traveling for about a year.
Yeah.
And I was in Thailand, in Bangkok, and I saw that they just started advertising flights to come to Vietnam. So I thought, okay, let's go and have a look at Vietnam. It just opened up to tourists then. So I came here and came to Saigon first.
Yeah.
And after a few days, I hired a driver with a car, an old French car, an old Citroen car. And we drove from Saigon all the way up to Hue. We went to Dalat, Nha Trang, Hoi An, Da Nang, Hue. And then from Hue, I left the driver and took the train up to Hanoi. Spent some time in Hanoi. And I did that for about 3 or 4 weeks. And I thought, I like Vietnam. And you could feel the energy, like something was going to happen here. It was still very poor at the time, and not very developed at all. But you could feel that better things were happening. It just opened up to tourism, and investors were coming here. So I thought it could be a good place to stay for a while. So I didn't plan it, I just stayed here, got a job teaching English in Saigon, and that was it. So, yeah.
So why birding but not any other kind of ecotourism? Like, is it a an interest since you were still in the UK, or when did it develop?
Yes, an interest. So when I was a kid in the
Yeah.
UK, I used to like bird watching and wildlife. And then I suppose in my teens I forgot about it and had to focus on my work and career. And it was actually when I moved back here between about 93, 94, 95, when I was working as a tour leader for the Australian company. And I was travelling around and I kept seeing birds, saying, oh, look at that. That's a nice bird, I wonder what that is. So I got, in those days there was a very old book which was a field guide to the birds of Southeast Asia. So it had all the countries of Southeast Asia. So I got the book and I looked up all the birds. Oh yeah, there's some good birds here in Vietnam. So that's when I started going birding again. So all the time I was working in marketing for the travel companies. At weekends I'd normally fly to Dalat, or I'd go to Cat Tin, or go to Bac Ma or Cuc Phuong or Sapa and go bird watching. So, and in those days there was nobody bird watching here.
Sorry, can you repeat?
In those days there was nobody bird watching in Vietnam.
Oh, I see.
Even, well, there were no tourists coming here for bird watching for sure, but no Vietnamese doing it. I mean, in those days the Vietnamese liked to eat the birds or to put them in a cage. If you show them the book, they say, this one's delicious. This one's good with sweet and sour sauce.
Do you think that there will be a change with the younger generation, or not at all?
Already, yeah, you can see it with the young generation. I mean, my generation in Vietnam, I don't think they changed. But the young generation, under, I don't know, under 30, under 25, whatever, they're much more conscious of conservation, all these issues, you know, climate change, pollution. So it's changing, which is good news.
Yeah, maybe because we are exposed to lots of information now.
Sure, and also the younger generation, I think hardly anybody is eating like wild animal meat. You know, they're not eating wild animals, and they're not using wild animal products. Things are definitely changing, which is good. But conversely, on the other hand, in those 30 or 35 years, Vietnam has lost a lot of forest and a lot of habitat. Of course, because the population's grown. I think in 1992 when I came here it was about maybe 70 million. Now it's over 100 million. So 30 million increase in 30 years. So big change, bigger population, more people, need space to live, and farming, agriculture.
Urban and such.
And you know all about coffee plantations, where you come from. So coffee actually, it's great for Vietnam, of course, because it's a big export product. But a lot of the coffee plantations, put those in, they've had to cut down forest. Because it's mostly up in the hills.
I feel bad drinking latte now.
Yeah, don't drink that. No, it's okay. I love coffee too. But so all these things have led to the biodiversity is nowhere near as good as it was 30 years ago. Purely because of pressure from population.
So can you give an example, you know, when maybe when in the 90s when you visit a forest, maybe a Cat Tin forest, compared to your latest trip to Cat Tin? Maybe when you go with CV to introduce a better book possibly?
Cat Tin is, Cat Tin is a very, probably it's a star of conservation, I think, in Vietnam, because that is one place where I think the biodiversity is better than it was 30 years ago,
Oh, better.
because protection is much better.
Oh, I see.
So Cat Dinh is probably one of the very few places, I think, that has actually improved in the last 30 years. For example, you can see some rare species of birds and mammals there that you couldn't see 30 years ago. So, for example, for birds, the peafowl, Kong Kong, yeah, now it's very common at Cat Dinh. 30 years ago, very, very rare.
Okay, see.
And also there's a species of wild cattle called gawa. In Vietnamese it's botot, yeah, a big wild cow. And these are doing very well at Cat Dinh. They're common now, but before it's very, very rare because they were hunted and the protection wasn't very good.
Yeah.
But now Cat Dinh, I think, is it's a success actually. It's
So what do you think about? I think that the Cat Dinh is more and more well known for people as a place to visit. And do you think that the more people come, the more is difficult for
sure.
animals to the environment for
No, I don't think so. Because you've been to Cat Dinh, right?
Yeah, once.
Yeah, okay.
Just last year I went to Bong Sau.
All right, yeah. Oh,
Check in with
fantastic.
my friends and stay there for 1 night, 2 nights.
Oh, you stayed there?
Yeah,
Right.
I stayed there.
You see the crocodiles? I'm sure you did.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, so the crocodiles weren't there 30 years ago.
Yeah.
They were reintroduced about maybe 10 or 15 years ago. So they were extinct. And they were reintroduced. So another success story at Cat Dinh. But yeah, at Cat Dinh, the good thing is most of the tourists, they just go on certain routes. So on the main road through the national park, you have the headquarters, and you can go this way to Bao Sao,
Yeah.
and you can go this way to the grasslands.
The grassland, yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's where most of the tourists go, either on bicycles or walking or on the park jeep. And of course, you can do the trail to Crocodile Lake. There's a few other trails you can go on, but people aren't going everywhere in the forest, just on certain trails. So the wildlife is undisturbed. So it's a very good national park, Cat Dinh. It's very impressive. But that is one of the few success stories. Nearly all the other places I used to go birding 30 years ago, they're much worse than they were then. They're much worse than they were then. Much depleted. So places like Dalat. Dalat still has some really nice areas of forest around Dalat, but not as good as it was because of tourism development.
Yeah, too much. Way too much.
Yilin, for example.
Yeah.
Yilin, because of coffee plantations. A lot of coffee plantations, Yilin and Baolop. Sapa as well, same like Dalat, tourism development, and it's nowhere near as beautiful as it was. But generally, the places that are protected, the national parks, they're still good. So Cat Dinh in particular, also Pak Maha, Phom Nha Ke Bang, Kut Thung,
So you mentioned about the animals, the mammals, but how about the birds? So compared to 30 years ago, is there any kind or species of bird you no longer see nowadays in Vietnam?
Yeah.
Is that number significant or?
There's a few. There's one in particular that's found on the Dalat Plateau at Yiling and Dalat, around Dalat, and it's called the orange-breasted laughing duck. I've
yeah,
got the book
please.
here. I bought a copy of the book, so I'll show you. I only have one copy here in
Yeah,
Vietnam.
I heard that it's very rare because you guys.
I bring them when I come back, but I have to give them to many people. This is the last copy I have. But what was I going to show you? Orange-breasted laughing thrush. So this family of birds, they're called laughing thrush, and Vietnam is a great place for laughing thrushes. This one here, orange-breasted laughing thrush.
Do you know the Vietnamese name?
I do, and I'll tell you here.
Oh,
Cool, look,
Bang.
bang. Yeah, bang is actually yellow, isn't it? So, or gold maybe it means gold. Huh?
Can I have a look, please?
Sure, yeah, have a look.
This morning, Lynn said that it's very rare. We can,
Well, because it's published in Barcelona,
yeah.
and you know the publishing laws in Vietnam, it's difficult for them to sell it here. So, luckily, all of our tourists, they come from overseas, so they can buy it in America or Europe or wherever they come from. But difficult to find here. So every time I go back to the UK, I bring about 10 copies with me.
To give your friends or to
To give to guides and to give my friends. Yeah. In fact, we will go back at Tet, so I'll bring some more copies back then.
Yeah, I see.
So anyway, this bird,
Yeah, no
Up.
longer.
well, we no longer see it.
Yeah.
Up until, I think about 5-6 years ago, we would see it on nearly every tour. And now it hasn't been seen for, I think, at least 3 or 4 years, maybe 5 years. And the reason is, now this is something that's quite important, what's become very popular in Vietnam and in Asia, and in fact around the world, but particularly in Asia, is bird photography,
Yeah, I see.
not bird watching. Yeah, so bird watching is different. Bird watching, our tours, we don't do photography tours. Of course, some clients will bring a camera and they'll take photographs. But our tours, we go walking in the forest, listening and looking and finding birds, and we'll look through the binoculars, and that's it.
Observing only.
Observing birds and animals in their natural habitat.
Yeah, I see.
Being natural, doing what they do.
Yeah.
Bird photographers. So the problem with bird photographers is they want to get the best photographs. So in order to get the best photographs, they don't want to see a bird up in the tree there, because it's very difficult to take a photograph. You know, there's lots of leaves and branches. For us, it's okay. So, oh, there's orange-breasted laughing thrush. Great. But if you want to take a picture, they want it in a big open space, so they can get a nice picture, get the whole bird, and they want it close.
Yeah.
So what they do is they'll build, it's called a hide, so it's like a little, they'll put a screen up like this, maybe with bamboo, and they put a blanket there with the holes in here, so you can put your camera through. And what they'll do is they'll clear a patch, say down here, they'll clear the forest, cut all the plants down, clear it, and they'll get a tree stump or a bowl, and they'll put worms in it
Yeah,
to attract the birds.
Yeah.
And they'll play the bird call on their phone. So they'll play the sound of the bird, so they come in because they're curious when they hear the sound of another bird of their species, and then they see the worms and they eat. So it doesn't seem like a big problem, but the big problem is in Vietnam, and especially in unprotected areas like Yi Linh or around Dalat, there's a lot of people want to trap those birds. They want to keep them in cages, and they know, because a lot of people come here, a lot of people come to Vietnam to take pictures of those birds. They think, that must be valuable.
Yeah, I see.
So after the photographers go, they will come there and they find the name and they play it on here, play the call, and the birds come in and they trap them.
Yeah.
So that's what's happened with the orange-breasted laughing thrush.
Yeah, about the bird cages, you said, I wonder if you ever Probably you did travel from the western area of Vietnam to Ho Chi Minh City, miền Tây in Vietnam. On the way, you can see lots of bird cages where
Sure.
you trap birds and sell them
Sure.
just on the road. So, yeah.
Sure. I mean, the good news again is the younger generation don't have this hobby of keeping
Yeah.
birds in cages. It's mostly the older generation. Again, my generation, the bad generation.
We don't have appetite for birds.
No, we don't. I mean, and young people, they like to go in the forest and see birds in the forest. But, yeah, as you know, the older generation, especially older men, it's a hobby to have the birds, and to go to the cafe and hang them in the cafe, and they sing and they drink coffee.
And another time we do nhậu and
Yeah, the nhậu. Yeah, sure. So, yeah, this has always been a problem in Vietnam. The problem is getting better
yeah.
because the young people aren't doing this, but even so, people are still trapping birds.
Yeah.
And the rise of bird photography, though it's good that a lot of people take interest in birds and they come here to see the birds, the way they do it, it's not good for the birds.
Yeah, I see. So as for the tourists on your birding tours, so do you witness any changes compared to the past, compared to now? Like I know that most of them they're foreigners, but
They're all foreigners, yeah.
yeah. But if there's any changes and their expectation, or this was just kind of the same.
Well, I think because when we started Vietnam birding, that was about 2007.
Yeah.
So it's nearly 20 years ago. Then we were the only company doing it, so everybody came to us if they wanted to go bird watching. Gradually over the years, there's been a lot more travel companies doing bird watching tours now, and there's a lot of local bird photographers, Vietnamese bird photographers, who also run tours. So even though the market has grown for bird watching tours, because there's a lot of competition,
Yeah.
you have to specialize. So what we do is we specialize in, like I said, we don't do photography tours that most people do. In fact, all the other companies do photography tours. That's their number one type of tour. We don't do that. We do traditional bird watching tours, and we attract most of our clients are my age and older. Older than, in fact, I would be young if I was on my tour, and I'm 67. So
Okay.
the people who come on our tours are mostly in their 70s and sometimes in their 80s. So they're generally people who are retired,
Yeah.
so they have time. They have a lot of time to go on holiday,
Yeah.
and they're mostly from North America, from Europe, Australia. So they're retired, and usually they're not poor. They have money,
Okay.
and they want to spend that money traveling. So what they do is they'll contact me, and we'll arrange a tour for them, and it's all tailor-made for them, custom made. So they tell me 15 days, 20 days, 25 days, if they've got a place they want to go to, any birds they want to see. So that's what I do. So I put together a tour for them, a custom-made tour.
Based on the species they want to observe and based on the location.
Locations they want to go to, and also we mix it with cultural touring as well. So for example, we often go to Hoi An and Hue and look at the citadel and the tombs, Duduk and Minh Mang and all that Kai Dinh. And we do Hanoi, we do Halong Bay cruises, we do Mekong Delta cruises. So some tours we mix the bird watching with cultural.
Yeah.
And most of our clients, as I say, they're elderly, retired, they have time, and they have a passion for seeing birds and wildlife. So that's why our segment is very different to the main bird watching segment.
So I wonder how would a birding tour would be like for people, as you say, mostly elders. Yeah, so you would require to stay at a very early time of the day, or do they have to travel a very long distance deep into the forest or in high and such?
Right. Okay. So you have to make sort of some allowances because often our clients, if they're in their 70s and 80s, maybe they can only walk, 2 or 3 kilometers a day, whereas when we go birding, we do maybe 15 or 20 kilometers, no problem. But the more elderly people, some of them are not very mobile, so we have to tailor it exactly to their requirements and to their ability. But they still get up at 5:30 in the morning.
Okay, yeah.
You have to get up early to go bird watching because the birds birds and animals are most active from dawn until about 10:30, and then in the middle of the day they're very quiet. And then, like Vietnamese people, right?
That's why they say early bird.
Early bird catches the worm.
Yeah.
That's what they say. The early bird catches the worm, and that's exactly right. If you go to next time you go to Cat Inn, get up at 5:30 and walk along the road from the headquarters. You see lots of birds in the trees. When you come back at 10:30, maybe 1 or 2 birds, but not many.
Okay,
Like people, they like to rest up when it's hot.
So that's the one question. The second question is that how Vietnam has really been affected by the climate a lot. Due to the rain and the storm and such. And birding is an activity that kind of depends on the nature. On those birding tour, what happened if we cannot spot any birds?
Nothing you can do about that, unfortunately. And we have, last November in particular was quite wet actually, because normally our tours start at the end of October, so November is the first month when we're really busy with tours. And in the past, up until a few years ago, November was fine. Maybe a little bit of rain at the beginning, and then by mid-November the weather's like this. But now I think with climate change, the seasons they're a bit strange. The weather patterns are shifting. So as you know, in Saigon it was raining quite a lot in November and even December.
Yeah, near Christmas.
It was raining. Whereas I think 10 years ago, as I remember, or 15 years ago, we very rarely got rain in December, and even November was usually mostly dry. So yes, it has affected the birding. But if you're on a tour, there's nothing you can do. Of course, you can't go birding if it's raining heavily, but you just wait till the rain stops and you go. The good thing is it doesn't usually rain continually at that time of the year. So, yeah.
So I read that the first edition of this book was published in 2018.
2018, yeah.
Yeah. So back then it took how long to finish the very first edition?
Oh, it took me a long time. That's the first edition.
Oh.
So that was at the launch in London in 2000. I think that must have been summer of 2018.
So after finishing this version, do you guys have any ideas of develop this one, or maybe it's an idea later?
Well, the first edition, it took. Let me see. The publishers, they're called Lynx, based in Barcelona in Spain. They contacted me maybe in about 2016, maybe about 18 months before. And the reason they contacted me is the owner of the company came bird watching with me in Vietnam a few years before, so he knew me. So he contacted me and said, look, we're going to start a new series of field guides for all the different places, countries around the world. First one was Thailand, and the second one they wanted to do was Vietnam. And they said, would you be prepared to write it? And I said, well, I don't know, I'm not a scientist and I'm not a writer. But I thought about it and thought, well, why not? I know about the birds of Vietnam. So yeah, I started working on it, I guess, about 18 months before. So the whole project's about 18 months, but I think the last 6 months of the project, I was working every day from like 9 in the morning till, I don't know, 6, 7 in the evening on it. So it's a big project because you have to start from scratch.
But I wonder what was the work like? You said work, so they will send you a list, or maybe you already have a list and you submit it to them, like.
Well, what they did have, the publishers' links, they published a wonderful set of books a few years before, which is called Handbook of Birds of the World.
Oh, I see.
And there was, I think it's 17 volumes, and they're big books like this. Like this, and
Must be like
the pages look like this, and they cover every bird in the world. So what we did was we took that as a template. So we had a lot of the illustrations had already been prepared for that book, but that book wasn't specific. I mean, it covered the whole world, but it didn't cover all the different subspecies that we have in Vietnam.
Yeah, right.
You know, Vietnam has a lot of endemic subspecies. You know the difference between a species and a subspecies?
Yep.
So you have a species of bird or animal, and then there may be 3 or 4 different subspecies. So for example, in Dalat, the subspecies may be different to the one in Sapa.
Yeah.
So they're a little bit different. Maybe different colour, different song. So it was a big job because Vietnam has over 900 species of bird. So each bird, we had to take the text from the Handbook of Birds of the World, read through it and tailor it to Vietnam. So had to do all the distribution as well. So probably the worst job for me was doing all these maps. So for every bird in the book, we have a map of Vietnam showing where it's found.
Okay, I see.
And it's very difficult to get all that information because before this book, there was no record of a lot of this sort of stuff. So you have to be like a detective. So I based it on my sightings and Min's sightings and Yan's sightings. So we all thought about where we'd seen these birds, and previous books, we checked those as well, books on birds of Asia, and gradually we were able to put together all these maps.
So you guys are bird detectives.
Have to be a detective, yeah, exactly, bird detective. And the reason is, because this is the first ever field guide to the birds of Vietnam. There's never been a field guide covering all the birds of Vietnam. There's a few books where they have like photographs and things, but not a field guide covering every bird and up to date. So that came out in 2018, I think it was, and by 2022, was it?
2022.
I think, yeah. So about 4 or 5 years later, they'd sold out all their stock of the original printing. And so we had our clients coming to Vietnam, they couldn't get the book. So I said to the publishers, I said, look, we've got to reprint it. And I said, how about we do an updated version because some things had changed. Yeah. Because some new birds had been discovered, new subspecies discovered. There were some things in the first edition that I wanted to improve. So they agreed to do a second edition. But I had to push them a lot because they have to invest money, of course, to print it. So I pushed them, and finally they said, okay, we'll do a second edition. So the second edition, of course, was easier to do because you had the original edition. So it's just a matter of going through every bird species and updating information that you had. You know, maybe it been discovered in a different area of Vietnam, or maybe the distribution had changed, or it's found in the winter as well as in the summer. All these sort of bits of information. So the second edition, I probably worked on that for about maybe 6 months, on and off. So it wasn't as big a job.
I think I have wished that this kind of book maybe have another version which is more familiar with the mass readers, or maybe the birding tours like you guys maybe open for Vietnamese people. Maybe I think that can somehow, raise the awareness of birds.
Sure. I'd like to get a Vietnamese copy done of it.
Yeah.
It'd be great to have a Vietnamese version, but yeah, this is printed in Barcelona, and I think it's not.
I see.
But who knows? Maybe in the future we could join with a Vietnamese publishing house and do a Vietnamese version.
Yeah, and I heard that you mentioned when you and as well as Minh and Young, you are not the specialist in writing or researching. So how did you feel when you first received the book on your hand with the author being you and Minh?
Fantastic! It was amazing. I mean, it was just a lot of hard work, and like I said, a lot of detective work, because the information is not freely available and there's not much information. So mostly, as I mentioned, it was based on our own experience in the last sort of 20, 30 years bird watching in Vietnam. And plus we found some things on the internet, sometimes on Facebook you can look and find some information, but we had to collect all the information and go over it and check again and check again.
Connecting the dots.
Exactly, yeah. And you have to try and get it as accurate as possible, of course. There was a lot of proofreading and rereading, and
So how do you feel with the second edition, this one?
Yeah.
Still the same feeling with the previous one?
Even better. It's more beautiful. The cover's better. I designed the cover, the bird for the cover. The first edition, they'd already had the artist paint the picture for the first edition, but I wanted to have this bird because this bird is very special in Vietnam. Again, it's endemic, so only found in Vietnam and only found at Đà Lạt and Ngoc Linh. So it's called the collared laughing thrush. So I thought it'd be very special to have an endemic Vietnamese bird on the cover. And also it's a nice bright bird. So it's this one here. Collared laughing thrush. So no, I think we were very happy with it when we saw it.
Yeah, and this morning it's very funny that Minh said that when you first came to Vietnam, you picked a Vietnamese name, and this was also Minh. Is it
yes,
right?
that's right, yeah.
Kind of
I didn't pick that name. Who picked it? I think some Vietnamese friends, when I first lived here, they said, oh, you have to have a Vietnamese name. And they said, your name can be Minh. I said, okay.
Okay, and he told me how, your wife, they're both named Blanc, and and you guys had the same interest in birds.
That's
and
right.
Do you ever think that if you didn't meet Minh, all this would not happen? Or maybe kind of change?
Well, Minh is my head guide. So, and I think now he's probably the most experienced bird guide in Vietnam. Minh, and also Nhan is also very experienced. Nhan is Minh's best friend. So they both used to work at Bac Ma National Park. So I met Minh at Bac Ma National Park. I went there in 1999 when I was working for the French travel company, and I just went there just to look at tourism and also to go bird watching, because bird watching was my hobby. and Min was a guide there at the national park. Not bird watching guide, just a guide. So I took him, well, he came with me as my guide to show me around. And he saw me bird watching and he got interested in it and started learning about birds himself. So yeah, it all really started then on that first trip to Bacma. So yeah, and then gradually, yeah, it just grew and grew and grew, and then we were approached to write the book.
Yeah, but what do you think that you mentioned how popular the birding in terms of bird photography is more famous? More well known, more popular to the people and younger generation compared to your kind of birding.
Sure.
So, in terms of the human resource for your company, the next generation of your staff, those who lead foreign tourists to go birding, do you face any difficulty in
Yes.
training them or recruiting them?
Yes, exactly. It's very difficult. We've been looking for guides for many years. Now we only have 2 full-time guides.
Yeah.
But it's very, very difficult. We've had a few people who we trained up, but the problem is we found as soon as they're trained and they know what to do, then they'll leave and start their own company. Because they want to be the boss, they don't want to work for somebody else, and you can't blame them.
Yeah.
So it's difficult, but yeah, I don't know what the future's like for, from that point of view, because, as I say, most of our clients are elderly. They're in their 70s and 80s. And also myself and Min and Young, we're not young anymore. So maybe this sort of traditional bird watching, nature watching will not be so popular in the future. It seems to be photography is the thing now. And I guess part of the reason for that is social media. So photography, it's all about posting your pictures on Facebook or Instagram, whatever they use. So it's very competitive. Everybody's competing for the best pictures. Whereas we don't do that. We just go bird watching and enjoy nature, enjoy the environment, and enjoy seeing birds. So it's a different concept.
So you guys pursuing, just observing and conserve the natures and the bird species. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And birding, like some other hobbies, it's like a form of meditation. I don't know if you ever tried meditation, but you're totally absorbed in what you're doing. You're totally absorbed in looking for the birds and listening for the birds, and you're in nature. So it's a very healthy hobby to have. A very healthy way to spend your time in nature. You're not looking at screens. All you have is your binoculars, and that's it.
So do you have any plans to go birding for yourself, not with other tourists in the near future?
Me, no. No, I don't. Well, because you have to have a licensed Vietnamese guide. So I could go. Sometimes I'll join Min or Nhan for a few days on a tour just for fun.
Yeah.
But I don't do the guiding.
I don't know. I'm not talking that you be the guide.
Yeah.
I just ask you if you have any plans to, like go on a trip for fun. Birding for fun.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't have any firm
Plans,
plans at the moment. But for sure I will before I go back to the UK. When the birding tour season finishes in May, I usually go back to the UK and spend the summer in the UK, and then I come back here in October. So usually I go for a trip with Min and Nhan just for fun before I go back, just a short trip. Yeah.
Okay, I see. So the UK you mentioned is also your hometown back then, where you developed the interest for birding? May I ask which city or which?
Well, I grew up near to London, but I actually have a house in Wiltshire, which is in the southwest of England. It's near to a city called Bath. Maybe you've heard of Bath, maybe not. And it's near to, have you heard of Stonehenge?
Oh yes.
It's near to Stonehenge. So Stonehenge, as you probably know, is this ancient site with these rocks,
Yeah.
5,000 years old. So yeah, it's a very special place. Yeah. So that's where I spend the summer.
Yeah.
And I can do that because we don't have any business here in the summer. There's no need to stay here.
So, other places that you have visited, is there any other country also in the region as well, kind of have the same, landscape and biodiversity like Vietnam here that you witnessed?
Well, there are. I mean, in Southeast Asia, Vietnam has the highest number of endemic species. So that species only found in Vietnam, higher than Thailand, higher than Cambodia, Laos, Malaysia, Singapore. So that is one of the great things about Vietnam. We have these special birds that can only be seen in Vietnam. But yeah, I've been birding in all the countries in Asia, and they all have their own attraction. But I think Vietnam is a little bit special because of these endemic species that we have here, like this one. You can only see in Vietnam.
I see. Maybe next time I go to Cacting, I should hopefully I can spot some.
This one, you have to go to Dalat,
Oh, Dalat.
to Mount Langbian. Have you been to Mount Langbian?
Sorry.
Mount Langbian
No, I don't think
in
so.
Dalat, no? So if you go to Mount Langbian, you have to go to the top, and if you're lucky, you might see this bird.
Oh, so what was, I would say that most difficult, trail that you took to bird, to observe the bird, or
Probably the most difficult trip I've ever done was, well, a few actually. First time I went to Fansipan, which was about maybe 20 years ago. There was no cable car, you have to climb, you have to trek. I think it was 5 days, and you have to camp in tents on the way up and on the way down. So that was quite a difficult trip. Now, of course, you can do it in the cable car in 30 minutes. Then it was 5 days trekking with 3 or 4 Hmong porters carrying all the equipment. The other one that I think was probably the most difficult birding trip was to Mukang Chai. And that was, I was doing research actually with a friend of mine, Jonathan Eames, and we were looking for some very rare birds in Mukang Chai. But it wasn't actually in Mukang Chai, it was in an area of protected forest, and to get there we had to go for about, I forget how long, maybe 5 or 6 hours on motorbikes on the mountain roads, and it was very, like, not even roads, they were tracks, and we kept falling off the motorbikes, and then we had to sleep in tents in the forest, and we had to take all our food. There was no houses, no shops, nothing. You had to take everything with you and sleep in tents, and every day we'd go out bird watching, and it rained a lot. It was very, very wet, and we got very wet and cold. But we saw the birds we wanted to see, so it was all worthwhile. Yeah.
very nice, very lots of memories.
Oh, lots of memories. Yeah, lots of memories over the years. Yeah, we've done lots of trips around Vietnam.
Okay, I see. I think that